Okay, so if it was me, absolutely the fuck not. But I don't know. This girl might be fine with it. It's up to them. The boundaries of a relationship depend on the people in the relationship. So I don't know what we're doing.
So if you can't satisfy your man, he wants to just go and come back. Is that so bad though?
For me, yeah.
Why?
Because I don't even want him. He can go. Actually, he doesn't. I don't want him to come back. He can't.
Exactly.
Damn.
Okay.
But can you make the argument that you're on OnlyFans?
What does that have to do with it? It's a non sequitur.
Well, here's the thing. You're demanding him to be monogamous to you, right? And
I didn't even say I demanded that. But if I don't want to have sex with him and he's like, what is he, a fucking, like, I know we're all technically animals, but that's just a little, I like a more evolved man than that. He has to go step out.
Evolved line.
All right. Very interesting. Very interesting. So you want him to be faithful to you?
Depends if, I mean, so far in my relationships, we've had monogamous relationships, but I'm not diametrically opposed to open relationships either. It depends. We have to have communication, honesty, integrity.
All right. So they got to tell you up front is what it is.
I wouldn't tolerate it, like if it's one-sided the way you guys like things, but that's me.
Oh,
we're all different.
Open on both
ends.
All
different. We have different values.
You want it to be open on both ends?
If it was open, it would have to be open on both ends.
I mean,
if it was open,
you're open.
But if you're with a man that you actually like, would you actually want to have sex with other dudes though? Specifically, being honest here.
Me, no, but I would necessarily listen. But I would want to hang out with other dudes. I make sex tapes on OnlyFans, so I'd have to continue to do that in this point. So yeah.
Wait.
It can't be one-sided in that way.
Sex with who?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Wait. So you're telling
you guys
me
should subscribe.
You would technically speaking.
I had to bring that in.
Not want to do it, but if you did it, you would go other guys and.
I'm just saying the rules have to be fair. So it's in law, it have to be a facially neutral law.
Facially?
Yeah. So it would have to be on its surface. It would have to be fair.
Surface.
Life isn't fair, though.
But is life? Yeah. Thank you. Is life fair?
What does it have to do with anything?
We're just saying. Look, you don't want to do it. Hold on. You said yourself you don't want to do it, right?
So yes, but I could. And if I want to go on a date with a guy tonight, I should be able to.
But why force it if you don't want to do it?
I'm not going to force it, but if I want to, it can't be. The rules can't be. I can, you can't.
So
now if it's not neutral in its application, like if he wants to do it and I don't feel like doing it, that's different. But if I want to, I can. That's the point.
I'm pretty sure.
She wants to be able to reserve the right to go out and step out of the relationship.
But I'm pretty sure if that happened to you, you wouldn't do it.
But on what basis are you're saying it's because it's equal partnership? On what? But do you think men and women actually are equal though? Realistically speaking?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Ooh, okay. That's where that comes
from. That's
the
premise.
Yeah. So she thinks men and women are equal, which is why she.
So why aren't they equal?
We were born differently.
We're absolutely different from a biological sense.
Different doesn't mean unequal. Black and white people are different, but they're still equal.
No, I understand that.
Okay,
within the confinements of like human rights and everything else like that, but within the confinements of a relationship, men and women are not the same at all.
Different doesn't mean unequal though. Different, just apples and oranges are different, but they're both fruit. Like it's just stupid.
Yeah, but we're not. Go ahead. You have something?
When it comes to dating, man and women, do we bring the same thing to the table?
Sometimes, yeah.
How?
Well, how not? Why not? You're the one making the claim, so you have to defend the claim.
Okay, no. But once again, I'm asking you, what do we bring that's different?
I don't bring it. I mean, we're different genders, but for instance, I don't like the traditional you pay my bills and I give you sex. Like that's not for me.
From a biology standpoint, we have different parts, right?
What do you mean if we have different parts? Yes.
So are we the same?
I didn't say we were the same. I said we're equal. You guys, this is very simple. Equal doesn't mean the same.
I have a point though.
Wait.
Sorry, you had something?
Yeah, well, personally, I mean, not trying to offend you, but
sure.
I don't think that we are equal for the fact that women were born with value and men weren't. So, and I have a brother too, so I can back it up that it's harder for men because they have to struggle a lot. They have to put more effort. They have to make sure that they look good and everything. And not saying that we don't want to look good either, but we're already born with a high value. So only that way that we can downgrade is honestly if we, sorry, not trying to be disrespectful, but if you show yourself in an incorrect way or you make yourself look like a hoe.
Okay, so you've been watching some of their episodes, I can see. It's like literally him word for word.
Anyway.
But I mean, I think we're all born with value. Like we're not like fucking Hitler. Like everyone's born with value.
Whoa.
If you're saying that some men men have to work for their value, I don't know what that means. Like they have to work to be attractive.
You're a woman, so it's hard to.
So because I don't have to work to be attractive, and they have to work to be attractive, now everything's unequal, and they can. I just don't subscribe to that.
I mean, it's the reality that for a man to mate, he has to bring significantly more accomplishments to the table to have the same options and the ability to get with the opposite gender that a woman has. By the time a woman's 18 years old, she's able to, if she's attractive enough, she can align herself with some of the top tier men. A man has to become top tier to even be able to get the chance a lot of the time.
So why does that mean though that you should be able to act on that? Like I know you make the argument that it's easier for women, but that if something's wrong, it's wrong. It's easier for you to kill me than it is for me to kill you. But
let me
murder's
ask you
still
something.
wrong.
Let me ask you something. You come from the legal world.
Yeah.
Are you and a paralegal the same?
No.
Oh, and I love how you didn't like how you had disdain for when I brought that up.
I didn't have disdain. I just had disdain because it's a non sequitur. But
no. I'm going to explain the analogy here. The reason why is because you had to go through a lot more trials and tribulations to earn your title versus the paralegal went through a fraction of the schooling that you did. So you guys are not the same. So therefore, they don't have the same authority that you do as a lawyer because you busted your ass to become one. A paralegal is out there helping you with what you're doing, but you're the leader because you earned that right.
But relationships aren't like I earned the authority.
Are, though. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because men are expected to protect and provide for women in general in a traditional relationship. So if I'm expected to protect and provide for you, I have some authority. I need to have some authority over you because I'm responsible for you.
First of all, not all relationships have this traditional.
I understand your perspective.
Traditional.
I get that. Yeah. Not every single relationship is traditional. However, a majority of women, you might not be it, but I'm just making an argument for the majority. A majority of women prefer and would enjoy a traditional relationship where the man is the breadwinner, the protector, and the provider. Women typically, when they work, don't want to pay the majority of the bills. Most women want to work what I say electively versus the man must work from a mandatory standpoint. I think if I land up 100 women, they'll prefer the guy to be the breadwinner and she could work on her own terms.
So you think being the breadwinner automatically gives you that authority because you're earning the money and whatever she's providing to the relationship is not as valuable in a traditional
No,
order.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that as the breadwinner, that is just one of many components that puts the individual in the authority position, which I would argue the man needs to be in that position for attraction to be maintained.
But you're assuming that the breadwinner role gives somebody that authority.
It's just one component of it.
What's the other component?
The protector and the provider and the leader.
Okay, and she's providing, I'm saying in a traditional relationship, the home and the kids, that's not equal?
I never said that's not important. But
is that equal? No?
It's not equal within the confinements of a relationship because the man needs to be the leader.
So that's not as important. Raising your children isn't important as
No, it's extremely important.
But is it as important?
But it's different.
Okay, different, yeah, but is it unequal? Because you're arguing it's unequal. So if you're saying unequal, that means one role is more important than the other, and that's what gives you the authority.
Well, the thing is that the roles that I have are very important to the survival of the family from a holistic standpoint. If I'm the protector and the
raising
provider,
the next generation isn't important?
I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is that for us to even be able to have the child in a safe space, as in a family, I need to make sure that I'm on point for us to be able to have that child to thrive. I mean, we forget about all this because we're in a modern day society with, technology and all these modern conveniences. But, you got to remember that human beings are, a progression of a bunch of conditioning. So before, we didn't have all the modern conveniences we did now. So the man had to be the leader and the protector and the provider to ensure that his wife was safe and the children were safe. So he was the head of the household for that purpose.
But we're not in hunter-gatherer times anymore. We've evolved for millions of years, and I don't think we just malfunctioned in 2023 by having less stringent gender roles. We're evolving to our times and our circumstances. So to constantly be like, well, in hunter-gatherer times, millions of years ago or whatever many years ago, this was the way. If that doesn't apply to now, well, you need to withstand rational inquiry. So if you have a belief of yours, it has to withstand rational inquiry for the time. So you can't be like, well, this is how it is because it's evolutionary reason that I'm saying. If it doesn't make sense in 2023, then you're stupid for following that.
Okay, really? So let's go ahead with some rational inquiry. Okay. Why is it that women still prefer men that are stronger than them, taller than them, make more money than they do, are superior to them in almost every regard, even though they're able to create their own security with their own jobs, get their own education, protect themselves through the police state? Why do women still screen for all these factors if they don't need it and we live in this modern world?
Well, it's changing. So yes, women still, because it's still recent, especially if we look at our evolutionary if you look at our evolutionary trajectory, it's still recent that women have been able to get these opportunities. And since then, if you look every single year, more women are okay with making, or their partners making less and less than before. So hypergamy is on the decline. You can look this up.
I would argue it's actually on the incline.
Okay, well, that's just contrary to stats, but I don't know what to do at that
point. Here's the thing. There's a bunch of articles that show that women find men as less economically attractive than ever before. Why do we have higher divorce rates? Why do we have
We don't have higher divorce rates. We don't have higher divorce rates in the past. And how long?
Okay, look.
How long? Let's pull them up.
divorce rates are women initiate 70 to 80% of divorces.
Yes, and you constantly
and marriages are at the lowest that they've ever been.
Yes.
Why is that?
So this is something I see you do. You don't understand stats, like you just don't get it.
Here we
Okay.
go.
So for instance, you say college educated women, for instance, initiate more of the divorces, right? Which is true. But then you take that, I've seen you do it, you don't get it. Then you say, oh, college educated women are more likely to get divorced. They're actually way less likely to get divorced. One of the best things you can do to actually prevent divorce is to get married to a college educated woman, especially if you're looking at longevity. A college educated woman is 80% likely to have a marriage that lasts at least 20 years. A woman without a college degree is only 40% likely. But you guys conflate that because you're like, they're more likely to initiate a divorce. So when two people are getting divorced, yeah, a woman that has more resources is going to be more likely to initiate and leave a shitty situation. But those women are actually less likely to marry people or get into circumstances where they're going to divorce in the first place. One of the number one things you should look for if you're looking to make sure your marriage lasts is to marry a college educated woman. These stats have been replicated year after year after year. They're in 2023. I looked up 2023 stats right before this. One group of women has marriages that last the longest and are least likely to get divorced, and that is college educated women. But you guys constantly conflate those stats.
Yeah, but it's harder for college educated women to find a man in the first place because their standards go up alongside it. And again, that's not true though, because you're with, like, I'm a lawyer. I could marry a lawyer in 2 seconds. I'm constantly around other lawyers. The college educated women are around more educated men. The best position you could be in to marry a lawyer is to be a lawyer yourself. They marry lawyers most often. What percentage of men are lawyers?
Well, what percentage of women?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
but rather to be happier than in a miserable relationship.
No. What I'm trying to say, because here's the thing, we got completely off topic there. All I'm saying, because this all started with me saying that just because we have modern conveniences does not necessarily mean that women have changed their mating practices. Women still want a man superior to them in almost every way if given choice.
But it's going down as times change. So you guys are teaching something that's actually becoming less and less valid as time goes on. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know about that, because even though women are more educated now than ever before and they have all the opportunities, all the same rights and privileges, they still want a man that's better than them. I would argue hypergamy goes up as women are educated because women are less likely to settle when they are higher earners.
Well, I mean, technically, yeah, but these women don't have to settle because you're around other high earners. Like, that's what I mean. Like, you're around, like, lawyers tend to marry. It's called assertive mating. It's you're around other lawyers. You're going to marry lawyers, marry other lawyers, doctors marry other doctors. If I'm in a law office 24/7, it's so easy for me to marry a lawyer. This idea that you guys have, I don't know, in Miami
I don't know about
podcasting,
if it's so easy to marry one, but
yeah, I don't know about Miami podcasting world, but lawyers are not marrying 18-year-olds that work at McDonald's. They're marrying other lawyers. Engineers are marrying other engineers.
The point is that men are not pigeon-toed to marry within their class, their socioeconomic level.
They are.
Etc.
It's the attraction similarity hypothesis. It's one of the most researched theories in the psychology of attraction. You tend to mate across IQ, across socioeconomic status, across education. This is how people generally mate.
Generally,
men are totally
we're talking about generally.
Down.
They're more okay. They're more okay with dating down. And again, I don't know what, maybe in new money world it's different, but lawyers and doctors, they're not marrying girls like that work at CVS. It's just not a thing. And they're not marrying hot girls off Instagram. My mom's a lawyer, my sisters are lawyers, my cousins are lawyers, all my friends are lawyers. If we all met up and one of them was like, oh, I'm bringing my girlfriend, this 19-year-old I met on Instagram, never would happen. They're dentists, they're other lawyers. They're
not going to bring them around y'all because, like,
but are they marrying them? If they're marrying them, then
marrying you. Then you're divorcing them, and then they're going with a hotter.
But I'm
chick.
Way far less likely to divorce them. That's what I just told you. Yes, look up the stats. College-educated women get divorced the least. The likelihood that my marriage is going to last 20 years is 80%. I don't know who here just has a high school education. That's 40%. That's double.
You specifically, or you mean women that are lawyers?
College-educated women. Me, I don't even believe in marriage, so not me. But